Hi Sharon, happy Tuesday to you too. I am setting up here, trying to right and left, and it's way too loud. There we go. I have to turn so I have my headphones hooked into my speakers, and I have to turn them down to almost near nothing. Because for some reason I guess it's not, well, maybe it is because the little speaker knob on my volume is so loud, but if the speaker knob on my volume isn't loud, then I can't actually hear it when I am not wearing headphones. So we just have to deal with it. Alright, I already posted Twitter. I need to post Instagram, so let me do that real quick here. Alright. Live. There we go. I have this picture of Coconut. It looks like she's gonna be like dancing in a cabaret or something. She's got that French girl pose. She's getting on her little warm blanket right now. Go to my link. YouTube. Art of cute. Did I spell that right? That's all I need. Let's see here. I kind of want to do something funny. Your story. Okay, there we go. I think that went That definitely went. This is still updating. I do have cough drops with me, so I shall use one of those cough drops after I finish my Coke. Come on, Instagram, update. There you go. Jeez. Alright, there's that. We're all good there. How was your weekend, Sharon? I hope it was a good one. Might as well just open this. Very low key, that's good. Yeah, mine was pretty okay. I'm still trying to, I guess, bounce back. Progress has been slow on like updating the shop and stuff like that, but it's just, gotta take it a little bit at a time. I want to get I've got the pins and the keychains. I've already got the books inventoried, and so like this week I want to get the shop updated and get that rolled out, and because I've got to update the shop, and then I want to finally connect TikTok shop because we've got the little, apparently you can't sell a plushie on there unless you've got the special child safety testing done. So I've got that certificate for the Momo strawberry plush, and I can, put that on Amazon wherever I want to go with that now. So I can get that done, and then I also need to. I started getting Fair updated and ready for wholesale. I've got to finish that and launch that because I did have some wholesale inquiries at San Diego. So I have a list, and it's a daunting list, but I'll get through it. And I've got a coconut over here that's just kind of looking wildly and okay. Apparently she just wanted to find the exact right position to sleep. All right. I started watching Secret of Nim. I have like the last 20 or so minutes of it to finish. I just forgot how beautiful that movie was. Just in everything, the direction and the scene setting, the music. I'm sure I knew about it at one point, but apparently that was the first feature that the Don Bluth production studio had released from their studio. And was it 85-ish or something like that? And once he had split from Disney and formed his own studio. So, I mean, you can kind of see all the love and time and everything that went into it. And, but yeah, so just enjoying that. I don't know what to draw today. I kind of, gotta think of something. I kind of wanted to do another vertical for maybe, I gotta do ones to pack in with the ebooks, which is another thing on my list of many things to finish. Maybe do a picnic scene with Happy in here. Maybe it's have that be the base. Maybe have some nice, let's see. No, I'll just do Happy and Momo and the floofs. Maybe that'll be, you know, that's a little bit. And I can do, let's see, move these guys up a little bit. And then I'll extend the bottom to have the picnic blanket and maybe some other items here. I don't need nearly that much hillside, so I can erase this. All right, we got an idea. I'll sketch with this and run with it. I'm getting to the point where I want to start drawing fall stuff because I need to actually prepare fall stuff to release during the fall. So I might maybe draw this and brainstorm some stuff for that later. We shall see. What's going on here? MailChimp. Oh yeah, I got my notification again. See, I sometimes get notifications and sometimes don't. It is always an interesting thing whether I do or not. Let me see, what did I watch over the weekend? I watched that Jason Statham movie, all I can remember is Project Fortune, and there's like a bunch of gobbledygook after that, and I think it was, I'm not sure how well it did, but it's actually a really good movie. It's fun, and the story is, it's kind of like a group of, I guess, super spies, you can call it, and they kind of get this famous actor to go in and help them. So Hugh Grant plays this big arms dealer, kind of like Hugh Laurie in The Night Manager, big, arms dealer, bad guy. But he loves this one actor, and so they get the actor to go in there and get them kind of like an in with this guy to figure out what he's, what big arms deal that he's doing. And it's really a fun one. So I watched that, and I've seen it before, but I saw it come up on the... Ooh, that does not look like a good shape for Happy. I guess it would be in the same vein as that one with Nicolas Cage, where he and Pedro Pascal. It's not the most interesting yet. The something of massive talent. The something weight of massive talent. It basically, Cage goes in, Pedro Pascal plays a dealer or something, arms dealer, bad guy. Weight of massive talent or something like that. I don't know. You are begging for belly scritchies. What are you doing? You look so cute. She's like testing all the cute positions with her paws like this. The weight of massive talent? I don't care enough to look up the actual title. That one was fun too. I'm gonna erase this, so I kind of want the wind to be billowing in his coat. I need contacts. We sell contacts up convenient. They just won't let me off their list. It's 1-800-CONTACTS. They're belligerent. I think I got my contacts from Costco this time. That's almost the shape that I want. That's nice. It's kind of airy and floaty. I need to redo this one a little bit. I'm probably going to have to bring the hillside a little closer. Not that close. Ooh, that could be interesting. Let's just have him perched. He's kind of precariously perched. I might have to adjust that. But let's fix this for now. I think that'll be good. Erase that. Actually, it's a little bit low now. Let's see if I can raise this up a little bit. There we go. Because I do want to have he's going to be holding a floof, and he's going to have a floof up here. And I think maybe I should tip his body a little bit. I kind of want to lean him back a little bit to make this position he's in work a little better. Maybe I should stop messing with it. It's now starting to look weird. Like that, and maybe he's kind of holding this one up here so I can have a sleeve like that. I guess that'll work. Though I don't quite like that this is... I kind of want to draw that differently because I feel like the tangent with the actual coat is not quite right. I posted a screen cap when I was watching Secret of Nim, and I think it was appropriately, it wasn't obviously, but if you've seen the movie, you'd know exactly what scene it is. And that poll, as far as, I usually only get like maybe sub 100, maybe a slightly over views on my stories. This one got a bunch more and quite a few answers, and early on in the poll results I was a little concerned because I put the joke answer was I was finishing the quote from the movie, "You can unlock any door if you only have the key." And my joke answer was, "If you have a friend on the inside," or whatever. And out of the gate, it was really close. But thankfully more people knew the movie and the correct answer on the quote finishing by the time the poll expired. Alright, I don't need that anymore, but I probably need to make this a little thinner to look in keeping with the rest of his expression. I might need to draw this down a little bit. Although if the floop is right here, this sleeve would be kind of not puffy. I can kind of do this, maybe to put that sleeve where it should be. I think that's better. Pull that down a little bit. Oh my goodness, I have not been seeing any of this chat. It's like not updating. The secret of Nim in your stories of the weekend, yes. Maybe it's the fall vibes will help cool things down. Touch, yes, absolutely. And all the belly scratches. It's like something is wrong here. Chat is just not updating. And of course I switched to live chat and I actually see what you've been posting. So YouTube, you're stinking today. I should actually see chat updating now. Yeah, that was really weird. I'm like, something is amiss. I'm gonna refrain from throwing my can away because that will wake up Majesty. Argender, hello, welcome to this stream. Good to see you again. I just got my chat fixed, so I can actually see your messages. I fell. Oh no. Are you hurt? I hope not. a mouth in here. Not much. People usually say I'm clumsy. Yeah, I get that too. I usually manage to have at least, well, knock on wood, because I haven't managed to really mess my feet up in a while, but I would always seem to have like a purple toe or something, or like a turned ankle. But lately I've been pretty good about that. Gosh, I think the word, and I still remember it hurts so bad. I was cleaning the litter box, and I had one of those big refill like containers, like the tall, like massive ones, and I stepped over it, and it caught like my second toe, and I think it was purple for weeks. Oh, the pain was, yeah, that was tremendous. Well, it's just a clumsy little misstep. It's crazy how the little things like that can hurt so bad. I mean, I'd rather break my toe than have it do that. Not break and just like, oh God. I'll turn that one into just like a shadow. Those big kitty litter containers, they are, and they're heavy, and they're just, they don't move. So they're definitely going to win, especially against a baby toe. I kind of want to fill this in. See areas where I have relax. Down a little bit. Let's save. Alright, back we go. So it's gonna be windy, obviously, so I need to perhaps, if I put maybe something, maybe he's got little flowers blowing in the wind, like that. I can come back and do that later, but I want to get a little movement on this picnic blanket. And then let's just this. I feel like the rest of this is not in line. So this now needs to come up a little bit. Is that? I guess that's good enough. Let's bring this up. Whoops. Bring you up here. Because Momo's going to be here, and that I already know that this is a little bit too big. Speaking of Secret of Nim, I made a, well, it wasn't completely so, but it was an approximation of the amulet. I did, there are probably still places, but I used to make necklaces and stuff, and I would illustrate the inserts and seal them, and then put a, like a dome, resin dome over the top. I did that with, I found a base that was really pretty, and then I painted, no, was it painted? Was it Copics? I did the inscription. It wasn't on the back. I didn't have an engraver, so I did the red with the inscription on the front, and then I put the dome over the top, and it created a pretty close approximation of that. Though I'm sure these days there's probably someone who has made a Secret of Nim necklace that you can buy that has the engraving on the back as it should be. Hey Catherine, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? It's not being as steady as I'd like it to be. I think I can go ahead and remove this, but I think what I'll do instead, or at least in the interim, is just group them. Hinges. It's going to be open like this. Doesn't feel like it's big enough. I'm kind of moving up a little bit because this needs to go down like that. So maybe that's enough. Big stretch. Hinges are a little bit more visible. Or maybe do a reinforced corner view, perhaps. Nose is a little bit too close to this thing. Looking at it up there, it seems a little bit okay. More okay than it does right in front of me. I think I can go ahead and erase this. Let's go ahead and draw some little bits in here. Maybe we've got an apple. Some other stuff. And then I need a basket handle. That's going to be just the approximation of it. Needs to go something like this, and then over here, up. Something a little like that, but I think that one goes off. Whoops. Move this back here. I'm not happy with this. I'm gonna just group this guy and see if I can fix him. Or I could be lazy. I could be lazy. I could do it this way, so that the only thing that shows is that. You know what? I'm gonna let myself be lazy today. Draw that so you can see the edge of the handle there. Oh my god, belly! I gotta get some belly. Alright. Now we can erase this stuff. This little picnic basket. Extreme tummy rubs. Let's see if I can get a picture of this. Blow that up. See if you can see. That's what I'm looking at right now. She's got belly out and she's kind of turned up like a Thriller. do I want to do? Let's do maybe some, yeah, indeed. But she holds the stretch. She like gets stuck in the stretch. I'm just gonna do some little details here. Can't we do that sometimes too? I got this morning, as soon as I got up from my chair after having breakfast, she jumped on it, and that was the picture I used on Instagram for the stream announcement. Showing these two together here. Well, I feel like this whole deal should be, I've got to pick where I gotta pick a light source. I guess for now I'll just put this here. I could do this at 30% and maybe this at 60%. Though that side might all be in shadow. Probably wouldn't do that to the top there. This whole thing is in shadow. Maybe I won't be so drastic with it. Maybe we'll just do maybe 40, and I'll turn this one to 20. Just a touch. We're also looking to get a cat. We don't know much about it. We've only had chickens before this. Well, it's definitely, I think it would probably be pretty different than chickens. I would, depending on where you live, like I live in the city, so I would not let my cat be outdoors just because there's so much traffic and potential for them to get hurt or, you know, what have you. It's a little bit different, I think, if you're in the country, because I grew up and we are pretty much in the countryside, so the cats were indoor, outdoor. Nothing, you know, bad ever happened to them, and they were, one of them, actually most of them were pretty formidable guards on the garden. One was an especially good mole cat, and she would keep the moles out of my mom's garden. And but I would say, you know, depending on where you are, you probably want to keep them indoors. If you're in the city, definitely if there's any sort of large amount of traffic, or I mean, I don't know. I mean, because I've had it both ways, and I have like always nervous about the door being left open too long here and then being let out here. That's like nightmare fuel, because this is such a busy street, and there are too many ways that these guys can get hurt. So they are completely indoors. But so I would start out with that. Kind of make a plan, because if they're going to be indoors, especially if you're adopting, and if you've got like some cats are far more active than others, like especially species wise. Like if you get, I know Bengals are like, and what was the other one? There's another exotic type cat, but if they have that in them, they can be more hyperactive. They can be climbers, so you'd want to kind of think about that in your environment and what you can offer them versus what you can't. But you want to, you know, get appropriate toys for them, get, you know, litter box set up, and I think that, I mean, also, I mean, are you going to get them as a kitten versus adopting an older cat, or, you know, fully matured one? There's so many options. I've never really had problems with, you know, them being picky about food. I mean, Coconut is pretty, she has this one food that she really likes, so that's what I give her. I was giving her too much food at one point, so I had to scale that back, and I think she's kind of trimmed down a little bit and is not as chunky as she was, but I feel like there was a lot more fuss about adopting a dog versus adopting a cat. Cats just kind of show up on your door and like, I'm here. And that's kind of what happened with all of mine, well, except for one. Coconut was kind of passed through a bunch of households, a bunch of teenagers. They found her, and the teens were like, oh, I want to keep her, and mom and various households were like, no, and so they would go to the next person. And finally Coconut got into the hands of my friend's daughter, and that's when she came to me, because she of course couldn't keep her either. And you know, Fat Cat, I adopted her out of a Galveston rescue. Evil landlord showed up on the doorstep and said, I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. Pure landlord, through and through. Tuxie was adopted off of a ranch. So you kind of have to consider, you know, I wouldn't say that, you know, adopting a cat that's been an outdoor cat, you know, bringing them indoors is much of a problem. Tuxie was an outdoor cat, but he was adopted when he was a kitten, so it's not like he had a ton of time to really love and get, you know, used to roaming and stuff. I don't know if anybody has any other good advice for considering becoming a cat owner. I definitely, if you have somebody who, like a friend or family member that has a cat, maybe go and spend some time with them first and see if, you know, it's something you really enjoy. And then maybe go to cat cafes if they have any in your area. That's a good place to kind of test the waters and see, and also potentially to find a kitty, because the one that's here, they do adoptions and they're partnered with the adoption networks, which is really cool. But it's also dangerous. Live in the city now, but not an active traffic area. Maybe you'll prefer keeping, I would, yeah, if you're in the city, yeah, definitely. Because, I mean, it's not only traffic, it's roaming dogs, it's other cats, it's, you know, the potential for, you know, them getting bit by something or eating something. I mean, you know, there are people that are, you know, they put out poison for rats, and then the cats catch the rats, and they bite the rats, and they ingest the poison. I mean, it just, you know, there are too many, I think, potential problem areas in the city, so I think it's better to keep them inside. But I know I'm sure some people will argue otherwise, but I'm just like, yeah, no, you're staying in where I can see you. kind of feel like this should be a little more curved. This one I think is curving right, but let's see if I can get this guy to go a little bit more in. I think that's good. And then what I'm going to do now is just group this forward section so I can color it easier and just pop this on top and have this backward section. Maybe I might even do a different line art up here too. All right, let's get Momo Cheap dropped in here. Aiden, hello, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? Also, another bit of advice is look and see the vets in your area and find a good one. It took me a while to find a good one, and I would rely well, I find here, let me tell you the pathway I found mine. So there's a couple of groups on Facebook that are kind of information trading areas to the local area here. And usually if you search in there, like I need a plumber, you know, all of the threads on plumbers and recommendations will pop up. It's the same thing with vets and stuff. People will recommend a vet that they really trust and enjoy, and they feel it treats their animals well, because that will happen. That will come in to play. As much as we don't want it to, you will have to take your pet to the vet, and you've got to kind of keep that in the back of your mind, and because a lot of those times it's not cheap to help them. And because evil landlord, one time we came home and the coffee table was flipped over, and this is a big heavy glass top coffee table. She had jumped on it, the thing had flipped and become unbalanced, and we had to take her in, and it wasn't broken, but they put a cast on her leg just in case, or maybe it was a fracture. At any rate, she had to be casted, and that was not something that we even foresaw happening. She just hit that stupid coffee table at the right angle, and it flipped, and it resulted in a vet visit. And so you've got to prepare for that and keep that in mind. And maybe there is such thing as pet insurance that can help with that, but also maybe just keeping a little pet savings account, because you'll have to do things like, for example, if you have a dog, heartworm, those regular flea medications and stuff like that, that adds up. For cats, they're a little bit less. As they get older, at least in my experience, the yearly checkups get more expensive as they get older, and they have to do blood tests and tests for kidney function and that type of stuff. So usually the young adult cat checkups are less, and then as they get older, you get a little bit more expensive because they're checking for more, and they're doing different tests. But I would advise to kind of have that in your plan too, just so that if a surprise happens, it's not a surprise and not something that you're caught off guard with, that you just have a little bit of something to take action when and if action is needed, immediate action. Thank you, Aiden. Yeah, I actually, I think I probably, if I had to pick one I enjoy the most, I think I truly enjoy line art the most. I take the most time with it, and I can get lost in line art, especially if I'm doing like trees and stuff, and detailed nature and backgrounds. Those are really fun for me. This is not a custom brush. Well, I mean, no, yes and no. So let me hit save real quick. The brush I'm using is called the Blob brush, and the tooltip is going to pop up right there. On the default, I can't say that, well, my version of Illustrator is like 22. So on the default tool, belt in this program, it's hidden underneath the paintbrush, but if you do your little toggle thing here, everything pops out and you can do your own custom tool set here, which is what I did. I use the Blob brush so much that I put it on its own spot. And then when I have my Blob brush, these are the settings I typically do. I give it a little bit of an angle and I pinch it just a tiny bit so it's not like a full round. I feel that it feels more like an ink brush to me, or like a Pentel pocket brush pen. It just has that feel when I, kind of edit it a little bit like that. So I have it 68% on the angle, 84% on the roundness. These are fixed. I don't ever change that. And then the big thing here is the size and variation. I have those equal, so I get a nice range on my stroke. And of course it's pressure controlled with the stylus. And then the other special consideration I have here is keep selected unchecked and merge only with selection checked. Now that's kind of specific to my workflow, because what I like to do is I kind of treat this as close to a traditional drawing tool as I can get digitally. So I'm drawing a lot of quick strokes in succession. And if I have these both checked, I'm gonna, in effect, create one big blob, and I won't be able to go back and selectively edit or erase pieces that I put down. So keeping this unchecked allows me the flexibility of, okay, let me select this group of 10 strokes and just erase this part. Like if I was drawing Happy's coat again, I draw the full piece and then the pieces above it, and then I go and erase once I have everything in position. I erase what it won't be seen by what's overlapping in front of it. So that allows me to do that and not create one, kind of like when you're regularly inking, you create one big, ink piece that you can't really erase. So this allows me to erase certain pieces of it, but to keep the flow of my lines and inking intact. And then as far as fidelity goes, I have it set in the middle. I think it's the happy medium of what I'm actually putting down with a little bit of cleanup, and it doesn't edit. Like if I put it down here, it's going to edit the lines and irritate me, but in the middle is pretty good. But so yeah, it's a brush that comes with Illustrator, and it's just I've kind of tweaked the settings a little bit. A little big. Might put her down here a little bit so her ears don't come up like that. Maybe I'll move her back a little bit so I can have more of her arm. I have the arm kind of coming through like this. little bit too close, but I want this one to be like this. And then let's smooth that out. Bit. It's a little bit too big. Or small rather. The size of head shape. Angle that a little bit and bring it up some. That's what I want there, but let's just draw that down. I'm going to bring her head in a little bit. That seems a little bit better. Finally crisp lines, yes. Okay. Let's bring it up like that a little bit, like maybe her arm is out. Might look a little bit better. Have I named this character? Yes, her name is Momochi. She's based off of a real cat. Not the one that's sleeping over here. Make that a little bit more not puffed, but cropped up. That's not the right angle for it, I don't think. Could a little better. This is happy paper, and then these are the floofs. And I think I'll have anybody else in this one. I'll have another floof over here. I'm happy you joined us, Aiden. Thank you for clicking. Thank you for taking the YouTube suggestion. Do I want to start erasing stuff? I kind of do. I think I'm done dinking around with the paws and stuff. Oh, I erased too much. It's too much. Okay. There we go, that's better. And let's see. Really, Bean? That was another big stretch. I'm not sure that was a legal stretch. Improper levels of cuteness. Which drawing tablet I'm using? I'm using a Wacom Cintiq 22. It's pretty old. I got it in, well, not pretty old. It's still beautifully functional. I'm gonna say I got it in 19-ish, 2019. My very first tablet was a 13 HD and a Wacom 13. I believe that has been replaced by a there's Wacom 1 and 1 by Wacom, and I haven't updated what their current line is, so that could very well be no longer produced as well. But I did not get the touch version of this one. And I'm glad I didn't, because it just, I'm sure I could have adjusted, but yeah, I didn't want the touch capabilities. And it's about, well, you can't really see. It's about this big. I could probably lift it and show you the edge. Oh, it's gonna erase me. That's the edge of it right there. XP Pen, nice. I've heard really good things about the XP Pen line. It was one I was considering myself, but at the time I was looking at those, the stylus did not have the eraser on the end, and that's like a critical functionality for me. It is really ingrained in my workflow, so I'm just like, you see me flipping my pen and doing this and flipping back. It's kind of an automated gesture for me, so I really need that eraser functionality on the stylus. So when I need to update my tablet, I hope that the XP Pens have updated their styluses for that functionality, because I would definitely consider those. The pricing far more competitive than Wacom, but I can't complain about this guy. I've been using it daily for quite a few years, and the only signs of wear I can speak of is like right here, and right here on my physical tablet surface. It looks like bruising, and it's not so much that it messes with the functionality. It just kind of looks like a bruise in the screen. I can still see everything that's up here, and but that's like the only wear and tear on this thing that I've had. But yeah, I've heard really good things about that line. Another one, I think Huion was one that I was considering quite a bit. But at the time I was considering it, there was a pretty significant gap from when you place your stylus on the screen. The physical gap between the stylus tip and the line was just kind of a little bit too much. So I eliminated that one. And this one actually had a pretty big reviewer had profiled this specific tablet, and I think it was just their personality and So take any review with a grain of salt. My personal story on that is they were really adamant about how much fan noise this had. And I would, I noted that because that's right where my microphone is. And if I have a ton of fan noise coming from the tablet, that could potentially mess up streaming and stuff. But then I was like, okay, well, let me look at some other people who have reviewed the same thing. Nobody talked about the fan noise. So that one specific reviewer was just, I think, maybe ADD or something, I don't know, and just hated all sorts of fan noise because I don't notice anything, and I really never have. So maybe you also had the lights cranked all the way up because of this, if you're, trying to light your hemisphere with the light from your tablet, of course the fan's going to run more, but I keep mine at 50% or less because that would just kill my eyes. But yeah, so I mean, definitely look at reviewers, but also if something really catches your ear like that, try and verify and see if any other reviewers note the same things, and then you can kind of gauge how much of a problem that feature or lack of feature or caveat really would affect you. Do I plan my color palette in advance? Yes and no. Sometimes I know, like, I'll want to do like a bright summery illustration, and I'll lean into those palettes that I have with those colors, or springtime illustrations. I have this palette right here, has all of my standard character colors on it, so that keeps them consistent, and then any lighting or mood that I apply I kind of set like neutral lighting, and then I go in and work from there. But usually I go into an illustration with an idea. Okay, I'm going to use fall colors here, I'm going to have it at night, or I'm going to have it at dusk, or at the crack of dawn when the light is all golden, and I'll have that in mind. And I don't know about that. And I do have the color palettes that have, like this right here, these are Momochi colors. All of my line art colors are usually brown. I sometimes go into the blues if it's a late night dark scene. These are coconut colors here, actually here and here. This is the floof color. Granny Bears right here, and Lady Boop. They actually share the same color palette. And I have, this is the tongue color I usually use, and this is Spring Bear right here. So I've got, and of course Happy's coat color right here. And then the cats are a neutral gray, the gray and black cats. I have used all three, and I think Wacom does have the extra edge. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Is it just like, and what do you think? Is it just the whole package, like the stylus and that, plus, the reactivity of the screen and all of that? Or is there one specific area you think Wacom really beats the competition? Oh, also my character's name is spelled Mo. I don't have her plushie. Just a second, I'll grab her plushie. All right. This is the plushie version of Momochi right here. This character, there we go. I have to go on the screen, it's actually recording. And I just re-released her. Version 1 of Momochi had a cupcake, and I decided to update her with a re-release and a strawberry. And yeah, they really knocked it out of the park on the strawberry. I just needed one revision. So she had come, I had given her sketches, and then she gave me one version, and I was like, okay, this part is perfect, but we need to work on these leaves because I wanted them to be kind of fleshy and plump, like maybe a succulent plant would be. And so we worked on that a little bit, and then it just was perfect. So. I think I can probably get rid of my sketch back here. I'll start filling in the rest of this. It's like a little minimal. I have to add some stuff here. One art tip you wish you knew earlier. Ooh, that's a good one. I'll have to qualify that with one art tip I wish I listened to earlier, because I feel like the art tip is heard endlessly but ignored until you actually want to professionally advance your art career, and that is the tip of practice and how art is a skill that you develop. I mean, yes, you can be born with natural talent, but if you don't develop that talent into a skill that can be because a lot of, like the whiz kids and the talented artists, they kind of just fall into a rut, and they just get used to the feedback and praise from that one type. I'm talking about young kids that show artistic talent. And then it's hard to break out of that rut and practice things you're not good at because you're so used to being good at this one thing. So I feel like that is one area where young artists can trip up. And also you hear, I saw the meme, it was a while ago, of the character, I think it was Sailor Moon, the character's drowning and they're like, help, and they send them a lifeboat, or like a little life jacket, little round floaty. And the artist version of that is, and then they high-five them. And so that's the pro artist giving the floaty that says practice on it, and the artist is just like, oh my god. But it really is true. It's practice. You've got to practice. You've got to push into areas where you're not comfortable and find joy in the process and not necessarily the end result, because there really isn't an end result, because there's always something new to learn. And so I started doing my daily drawings, and that helped me advance so much quicker than really anything else that I could have done. And on some days you're not going to produce anything that's you want to show, but there are days when I can still remember certain illustrations where I learned something very specific, like it was a breakthrough moment, and that carried forward. And there are other days where just showing up was the win, because whatever happened throughout the day, I didn't want to draw, I didn't want to do anything, but I still showed up and did it. And that was an example to myself that this is something I want to pursue professionally, and you've got to put in the practice and the time and the effort. And But if you want to just follow it as a hobby, that's okay too. But don't hold yourself to the same level and expectations as a pro would. You've got to be realistic. If you just want to draw in your free time and do that, then that's totally cool, totally fine. But if you want to be a professional artist, you're going to have to put in the professional time. And I think that's the one art tip that I would really like to have listened to earlier, because I didn't. I really didn't. I tried several times to start daily drawing and practicing, and until I really buckled down and started making it a point to be part of my day every day, that's when the progress happened. Personally, I felt Wacom to be more smooth and precise. Software is also, I think, better. XP Pen was close, but it does sometimes show issues. Huion gets really laggy. Oh, that's a big one. Rapid fire today. No, all good questions. Love questions. Don't be afraid to draw from, life. Draw from anywhere. Don't fall into the trap that using reference is cheating. I have a lot of people that I think kind of putting limits on yourself as an artist is a little silly. Because I've heard some ridiculous advice be given, like, using reference is cheating if you don't have it in your head. I mean, how are you supposed to get it in your head if you don't have the reference? If you're not observing a human figure, how are you supposed to know where these muscles are? I mean, it's dumb advice. So I would just, keep in mind to practice with focus, especially if you want to get better faster. The more you focus on something, you can advance, I think quicker. Like I would focus for I think about at least 100 days. I was focused purely on composition. I would draw in rule of third lines on every single drawing, and I would place all of my figures and all of my elements in that compositional frame. And that set me up to basically be able to approximate everything without drawing the lines. I drew them so much I could naturally divide up a canvas now. And so when I, for example, go to post something on Instagram, that canvas pops up that divides, your picture into a composition. I'm always nailed on one of the axes and one of the areas. I always have everything placed where it should be because I focus so much on just figuring out composition and learning it so that it was in effect burned into my eyes and brain. So do that with hands, and also use your natural compass. If you're avoiding something, let's go back to hands because it's a problem area for a lot of people. If you're avoiding hands, hiding them in pockets, hiding them behind a pose, that's pointing your nose in the direction that you need to focus on, that you need to actually start doing hands and not hiding them behind things. You need to face that discomfort and find joy in it, happiness, find excitement in drawing those things and getting better at them instead of hiding them because you don't like the discomfort of drawing them because you're not good at it. I did that with water and trees. I avoided water, I avoided trees. There's a huge drawing I have early on that I wanted my character sitting underneath a tree. And so what I did was this is the canvas. I have my characters right here and then trunk, because I didn't want to draw that tree. I wasn't good at it, so therefore I avoid it. Don't do that. Look at this as a direction, saying, hey, you need to improve this. So when you actually have the idea to draw this thing, you can do it and do it well and be in a way that's satisfying to yourself. Hey Dee, welcome to the stream. Keep going, it's fun. It is fun. Okay, these two. Okay, so I'm confused. Okay, let's get rid of. Right, obviously having troubles here. I want to get rid of that, so I can see this and erase that which I no longer need. There we go. What inspired this particular piece? I wanted to draw. You know what? I just kind of wanted to draw something. I wanted to include Happy in it, and Momo Cheats kind of like maybe a summary type drawing. And this is what came out. Sometimes I have a lot more inspiration than that. I'll have compositional inspiration, like I'll see something, a rough composition, or get an idea for a composition, and then that will be what drives it. Otherwise I'll have like for lack of a better description, an assignment, like I need to make something for a autumn themed t-shirt. So I'll have my theme there and I'll be like, okay, well, what would these characters be doing in this season? What is something that they would have fun doing? What could I, because I recently did one which was a Strawberry Festival shirt, and I loved that one. It was for Comic-Con, and I wanted to do kind of a poster that you might see in a market or like a music festival. That type of thing is what I was using as my base, and then I took that and brought my characters and a strawberry theme in on it, and really love that one. But so sometimes I'll have more inspiration and direction than other times, and also I'll have sketches I've put down that I'll come back to later. Like, let me show you last. Did I move that file? Let's see if I moved that file. Here's this one. File doesn't exist. Surprise, surprise. I cleaned up my desktop. All right. Go here and open the one I did last week. I can show you kind of an interesting progression. 97 sketching. Open, please. So this is the one I did last week, and this actually had a inspiration that was on my desktop for months. So so you notice the number here, 3597. That's day 3597. Well, on day 3023, I did a little sketch, which is pretty similar in, and I still may come and do this one again, because maybe they visit the same forest again. And in this one, they'll be hopping on the stones, and maybe it's a little further down the stream and there's more waterfalls and level changes than in this one. But this was almost around 600 days I drew that sketch, and then later I come back and actually come back to that sketch and do something with it. So I'll have that sometimes happen. And I still have some sketches that I've never done anything on, but I keep them and put them in a file. So on days when I don't know what to draw, I can kind of open it up. 11:59 p.m. or 11:50 p.m. here, staying up. Aw, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm so happy you're enjoying the stream. To come down here, and I want to do some other stuff down here because this seems just a little bit bare. Don't want that. I'll just erase this for now. And then I'll sneak in that little bit. Like that. Piece of randomness. Alright, let's see. What can I put here? I could probably add some apples, stuff that they've already gotten out. They've already gotten out. Maybe a little orange. Maybe Momo brought a book with her. Maybe let's just draw a book in here. With that book in here. Let's do it right. When I'm drawing this, I know it's off the edge of the artboard, but I might draw this artboard down a little bit, so I'll be grateful later if I do that and I don't have to get back in the zone and finish drawing the book. It's kind of squirrely with this corner. Why? This corner's giving me so much trouble. What's my favorite color to work with? Well, you probably see it a lot, but I really love this one. and you can kind of, on my overlays, it's the one I always reach for. It's somewhere between Seafoam Green and Robin's Egg Blue. This is a little bit more of a greener version, but I definitely prefer this one. And it's not as this. There are different variations of it in there, but I usually pick that color up a lot. It's a very relaxing color for me. It's close to Tiffany Blue, but Tiffany Blue is more green to me. It's not really that blue. I mean, I think that one's more saturated than the one I like. It's a very relaxing color to me. But then again, you know, like in the fall, I really love fall colors. So I saved a few, like, I just love playing in this zone. In the kind of neutrals, the browns, the golden tones, and the jewel tones, especially in autumn. Like here's another one. Really love playing in that area. Not something I wanted to erase. Give this one a little bit more room. Being like, there's always replay. True. Kind of commit to my lighting source. Yeah, I always like seeing the process too. I used to quite a bit go into streams on Twitch and just other art streams and I would just have it draw, them drawing kind of like you're at a sketch, group thing. Have a lot of artists actually just sitting in the chat, lurking, drawing as the person who's streaming is drawing. I did that quite a bit. So it's that shared creative energy, which is nice. Yep, I need to save. I think I'll go ahead and group this back area. Make it easier on myself. Make sound effects. Think about AI art versus human-made art. Well, I definitely am more in favor of human-made art, but there's also, I mean, if it's a two, I think if it's used, I think the proper use of AI is not to replace production of human art, but to expedite it. And expedite it in the way of more like a tool you'd use. Like if you're in the ideation phase of a book or a blog post, and AI give me 13 ideas for an art blog, and you get the list, and then you take one out of that list and you write your article. That's helping and using it as a tool to speed up the process, because I've been there before where you can, you need to write something, you're just blank. And so I can see where it can be used there, but actually, putting in a prompt, make me this piece of art with this focus and all of that, and there it is. I mean, I think in the long run, people will still seek out human-made art. And that AI art will really kind of only eat up the need for disposable art. Because I see it a lot, and it's where stock photography used to be, for blogs. Like you'd have an AI image now where there used to be a random stock photo, and it's slightly more applicable to the blog, but that blog probably wouldn't have hired an artist to draw that anyway. So I think that's the area where it'll come into play more, and because in the end, AI art is only trained on what you feed it. It can't create new things. And you can look at the process of human creativity as, in some cases, the same process. have inputs and you fill up your reservoir of inspiration and then you remix all of that into something new. But I think there's a spark in human creativity that hasn't yet been written into AI, where it takes seemingly random events or things that stick out to you throughout your process of living and mashes them together, and that's what creates ideas and inspirations in some cases. Like, you'll remember a random event in your childhood, something today that's, X number of years later, mash it together and get an idea. Can AI do that? Yes, potentially, if it's programmed that way, but does it do it naturally? No. So I think that is where the remade newness of human creativity can come from, because you can also argue that everything is, nothing is new, nothing is original. It's all a remix and a redo and resampling of things that have come before it. So, I mean, you can talk about it different ways, a ton of different ways, but I think at least right now, it's limited in that way, in that act of pure creation and spontaneous sampling. Yeah, maybe that'd be the right way to describe it. Which, someone I'm sure can. There's so many elements that you'd have to do, though. Because you can't just say, okay, remix it from, the entirety of your machine learning or whatever, and take something from here and put it from here. There's a little bit of reason behind that too. There's some connection, perceived connection, that made you draw on that memory or this thing that you saw and connect it here. That element, I don't know if that could ever be written into a program for AI to benefit from. Hey Darren, welcome! We are drawing and talking about AI. But yeah, I think it's like anything else. It's a tool. Because look at what Canva did to the graphic design market. It kind of made everybody a graphic designer that could log into Canva. But still, big companies pay for real people to actually design brand identities and think outside of that box, and come up with those results that they want very specifically, that you can't really plug into a machine and say, produce this for me. I think I want some cloud activity. Go back out. Maybe some nice billowy clouds back there. Nope, I forgot a piece. I read somewhere that we want AI to do our laundry so that we can do art, not to do art. Yes, I think it's backwards right now. We need them to do the mundane tasks that we don't want to do, that keep us from a higher task purpose. News piece. Let AI handle the chores and not the creativity. Yes. And see, and then I can see how that can extend to creative workflow too, because let's take you know, animation, for example. I can see applications where, you know, that could be tasking, you know, a human to do keyframes and a large scale planning, compositional planning, cinematography, color mapping, creating a color story. But on a granular level, you could say, you know, take the in-betweens and task that to a machine. I mean, yes, that's going to replace a human. And, you know, maybe it wouldn't. Maybe there's a human that really loves doing the in-betweens. I don't really know if do animators really love doing in-betweens? Yeah, I think so, because in-betweens are sometimes where the life happens. Those little, yeah, so maybe not. But maybe it's one person trying to make a movie or do a big, massive project that would usually take a studio. I could see how that could be. That could be a tool that could work in there, but probably 80% human created. What the heck am I drawing? What group am I even in? I'm in my own group, my own world. Here we go. All right, now I can come in here and redraw that. The soul that connects, yes. At the end of the day, people connect with me very much. Very much so. I like this little guy. He's just living the life up there. He's got the best seat in the house. Whoops. I think I want to group this. Oh, I didn't make a mistake. That's excellent. Alright, so now I can group what I wanted to group. And that'll make editing that a lot easier. Hey Clint, welcome to the stream. Good to see you too. So much cheese. Cheese is wonderful. Cheese is good. You don't like cheese, Harbinger? I'm gonna go ahead and make that a little lighter. Maybe a step more. Just push it a little back. So we have this forward line art. And I know this guy is gonna be, I'm just gonna, something like that. Just I don't know, maybe that won't be a Honeycrisp. I was thinking maybe I'd do a Honeycrisp because they have a little bit of yellow in there. Could be, I need some more, I need a few more little bits here. Something like that. Honeycrisp apple. I know this is going to be an orange. So let's nope. Want that. Come on. 100%. Maybe a lot of different things, not necessarily an orange. In my pizza? You talking about pineapple? Let's just go for it. Step a little bit. Nothing you can't fix. Get out of the lines a little bit there. Okay, let's see here. I think I'll do a complete fill. And then, yeah, I did not drop this color in the right group, but that's okay. And at least mostly in the right group. Let's make you a bit more question of lighting. Bring that way down. Right. Now I need to pick my book color and the color of the picnic blanket. Now let's just go ahead into the page color. Getting stuff. I might do a different color. I'm just going to drop one in here because I don't want the apple to disappear. And I don't want that to disappear. But I also don't want the blanket itself to disappear in the grass. So this is probably not the right color, but we'll see. Could be nice. Could be nice. Pineapple on your pizza. I will have a pineapple on my pizza, yes. Find it. It's better. A little grade in there. Kind of want to take these lines and drop those down as well. No, I don't want to move them. I just want to drop them down. It's going to be a problem. If I even like the idea. Let's see if I even like the idea. I kind of do. Alright. Let's follow through. Okay. that puzzle piece back where it belongs. Not as easy as it looks. Just this a little bit. And let's go a little bit. So that's the forward area, and then the back, I think I'll probably end the stream there. I did want to get through a little bit of coloring, which I did. And so the rest of this I'll color up tonight, and then that'll be my daily. I do need to do this real quick. I'm actually going to use... Really? Let's try that again. I want to make sure I've got the shadow in. So I may draw that down a little bit. If I want to do an HD, it needs to be 1600 by 900, so I can go up a little bit, go down a little bit. Oh, I'm so glad you like it, Sharon. Thank you, Catherine. Alright, let me go ahead and move this up so you can actually see it. And that's the sketch I started out with. Nice little picnic scene. It's going to be summery colors. I'm not going to... This is probably the most fall-ish that I'll do. There'll be nice bright greens out here and a bright summer sky. And I'll figure out something with those clouds. But I do want to have that nice billowy cumulus cloud up there. I can actually close this. And I already saved. And now let me go over to ending screen. There we go. Catch up on ice cream. Alright. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Dee. Still can't wait when you start making more fall illustrations. Yes, that is always an exciting time. And I will be doing it soon because I seem to always start a little earlier, and plus I've got to get fall stuff ready for any stickers and stuff I want to do in the shop and stuff. But thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate having your company and wonderful comments in chat. Aiden, Harbinger, I'm going to say Harbinger, and it's Harbinger, whatever. I always want to say Harbinger. Catherine, Dee, Shannon, Clint, any of my lurkers, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. My next live is going to be on Thursday. I do comics on Thursday, so if you want to see me put together a comic, pretty much I usually get through line art, maybe get to some coloring. But yeah, Thursdays are comic days, Tuesdays are anything goes days, Sundays I do animation, other days I do just chill illustrating like this. Some days it's more project based like books. I have a couple of live replays where I was putting together my most recent comic book. So if you're interested in that, you can definitely check those out on my channel. But yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays, usually around the same time, some around noonish or a little bit before that Central Time is when I start. I usually go for about 2-ish hours, maybe hour and a half, 2-ish hours, depending. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.